dig, if you will, the picture. In 2004, a devilishly handsome young man, whom some describe as a mix of Denzel Washington and The Rock, teaches Pro Engineer Wildfire 2.0 update and learns about the datum reference feature. If you go to the datum overflow menu in Creo Parametric, you can choose the reference command. This will open up a dialog box where you can manually create intent references from surfaces, points, planes, coordinate systems, and so on. Note that this datum reference feature is not to be confused with datum reference features in geometric dimensioning and tolerancing. Let me cancel out of this dialog box, and I will go to one of my combination states. And let's go to the Annotate tab. Here I have some geometric tolerances, and you can see that we have datum reference features associated with them. Well, the datum reference from the Model tab is something completely different. Then in 2008, PTC releases Pro Engineer Wildfire 4.0. One of the enhancements is called Intent-Based UDFs. In the PTC help, this is called automatically placing UDFs using datum reference features. Let me show you how it works, or at least I'll show you the exercise that was used in the training class. Here I have a part model open. If you take a look at the model tree, we have a couple of datum points in here. We also have a couple of datum reference features that were already created. I will select the datum reference feature and then edit definition. And you can see that this datum reference feature also has an intent name. The intent name is sketch. Let me cancel out of here. There is a second one. It is also an intent datum plane, and it uses the datum plane called right, but its name is orient reference. Let me cancel out of here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create two more intent references to facilitate the placement of a UDF for the keyway. I will go to the datum overflow menu and choose reference. And I'm going to change the type from intent chain to an intent datum point. I'm going to define the name as whole-cl for center line, I assume. And so for the first point, let me select this point over on the left. Now I will click the OK button. Let's repeat that. I'm going to deselect everything and then go to datum reference. Change the type to intent datum point once again. I'm going to define the name. I'm going to use the same name as before. I'm going to call it whole-cl. Let me do it all caps for some reason. Whole-cl. It doesn't matter for case sensitivity, but I just like typing it in all caps. Then for this one, let me zoom out a little bit so I can pick the point on the right-hand side. Now I will click the OK button once again. So now let's go to place a UDF in the model. From the Get Data group in the Model tab, I will choose User Defined Feature. And instead of using my group directory, I'm going to use my working directory. And here is a UDF that was already created. Let me double click on it to select it. And then we get the Insert User Defined Features dialog box. I'm going to choose the Advanced Reference Configuration button and now click OK. And then we get this Rule Editor dialog box. It's essentially the search tool, and it's looking for one of two different points to use. Let me zoom out a little bit. And I will start out by selecting, let's use this point on the right-hand side, and then I will use the arrows icon to move it to the selection list and click the OK button. And here we have a preview of the UDF that would be placed for the keyway. I'm happy with that. Let's hit the check mark in order to place it. Now we will repeat that one more time. User defined feature. Let me go to my working directory. Let me grab the UDF that already exists. Advanced reference configuration. Click the OK button. Then I'm going to grab the other point, and then let's move it over to the selection list and click the OK button. And the keyway is pointing the opposite direction from what I want. You can go to the adjustments tab and let's see, that one is fine. Let me go to this one and let's try flipping this. Yep, now we've got the keyway pointing to the inside. That's what we want. So I will click on the check mark in order to get that in the model. And so that's intent-based UDFs. The idea is that you can set up information in both the UDF with these datum references and also in your target model with datum references to automate the placement of user-defined features. This functionality would largely become irrelevant the next year with the release of Wildfire 5.0 in 2009. Let me show you another model. And in that version, in Wildfire 5, you had UDFs that could be placed with what are called on-surface coordinate systems, which were much easier to use and understand. For example, let me go to the user-defined feature command. Let me go to my working directory, and here is a user-defined feature created with one of those on-surface coordinate systems. I will choose the open button, and then underneath advanced reference configuration, well, for locating this, all that we need to do is locate the surface, and then for our offset references, we can dimension it from another couple of surfaces. I'm holding down the control key to select those references, and you can rotate this an angle if you want to. Let me just grab it and rotate it for you. You can change the dimensions. I'm happy with this. Let me hit the check mark. And now we have our feature placed in the model. So those are UDFs. Again, this method was available in Wildfire 5 and largely invalidated the need to automatically place UDFs with datum reference features. But regardless, I still could not let go of these intent-based UDFs. How do they work? How do you get them to work? How do you create the UDF in order to place it with datum references? And again, that was 20 years ago, but every few years I would think about them. I had largely forgotten about them until this year when PTC released Creo 11. In Creo 11, the offset feature, let me click on it, the offset feature when you are trying to create chains now supports the selection of intent datum curves. So again, here are intent references once more. I made a note on a sticky and forgot about it again. Then a couple days ago, I grabbed the sticky note to write down a password, and I became obsessed with figuring out intent-based UDFs for once and for all. I checked PTC's help. There's an error on the page. It happens. We're all human. Then I checked the knowledge base. I found a video, but it's in French. I went to some dark places, in real life and in my head. Stay tuned for part 2 where I show how to use these intent-based UDFs.